Self-Government, Presentation 5, Part B, in the Building Blocks of a Free Society series. Let's now consider the evolution of people's law and early democratic thought. The English word democratic comes from the Greek demos, meaning the people, and kratien, meaning to rule. The philosopher Plato characterized democracy as rule by the masses. Plato argued that there are few people of high quality in any society, and if all people were allowed to rule, those of low quality would dominate the state, and the result would be a tyranny of the majority. Aristotle, a student of Plato, reasoned that under certain conditions, the will of the many could be equal to or even wiser than the few. When the many governed for the good of all, he accepted democracy as a true or good form of government. However, when the many ruled for the benefit of themselves, the system degenerated into ochlocracy, meaning mob rule. Aristotle preferred what he called aristocracy, rule by the upper class for the good of all people in society. Polybius was a Greek historian and a prominent member of the Achaean League of city-states. When Greece was captured by Rome, he was deported to Rome and eventually traveled widely on diplomatic missions to Europe, Asia, and Africa. Polybius felt that there was an element of genius in each of the three types of governments discussed by the philosophers of the day. Monarchy had the executive strength needed to direct the administration of government. Aristocracy represented the various interests of wealth and resources of the nation. And democracy represented the interests of the masses of the population, without which neither a monarchy nor an aristocracy could exist. Unfortunately, none of these systems, when allowed to govern, provided equality, prosperity, justice, or domestic tranquility for the whole society. Even more keenly than Aristotle, Polybius was aware that each form carried within itself the seed of its own degeneration, if it were allowed to operate without checks and balances provided by opposing principles. Monarchy could easily become tyranny. Aristocracy could sink easily into oligarchy, oppressive government by a few rich families, and democracy could turn to mob rule of force and violence. Since all three forms represented unique and essential elements for the governing of people, Polybius suggested combining them into a single system. Charles Montesquieu was a French scholar from the mid-1700s. After 20 years of research, he wrote The Spirit of Laws, described as one of the most important books ever written. In it, he resurrected Polybius's idea of mixed government with an executive, legislative, and judicial components with a separation of powers. Furthermore, he advocated for a formal constitution. His writings greatly influenced our founders. Key points for Presentation 5, Part B on self-government. Throughout history, each time a direct democracy has been tried, it has ended in mob rule and tyranny over the minority. Montesquieu resurrected Polybius's idea of mixed government with executive, legislative, and judicial components. Montesquieu greatly influenced our founders in their creation of a democratic-based form of self-government compatible with a free society.